Okay,
Yes.
fabulous. My name is Amy O'Brien. I've been with Sons of Norway for about 10 years now, but in a different state. So, kind of an honorary member here, and I've taken Norwegian classes here and all kinds of stuff. So, I'm helping out the Nordic Center tonight and introducing our wonderful speaker. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about what's going on in the next week or so. So we've got, this Sunday is Sun Fun Day, and it's from 3 until 4:30. Sorry, I just lost my notes. One moment. Technical difficulty. Sorry about that. Well, I've got the information about her, so. Okay, well, this was awful. I'm really sorry about that. So I know that next week, Tuesday, we've got, the Swedish immigration from Minnesota to Cuba, and that's at 7. And then next week, Thursday, is, a book release. I'm not going to say the name because I'll say it wrong, but it's in the Nordic manner. It's The Kindred by author Mark Judge Munger. Perfect. Look at all this information. You guys are great. Clearly know way more than I do. So anyhow, we are really lucky tonight to have Leila here tonight to talk about her experiences. And she's been in lots of activities and events here over the years, so we really appreciate her being here tonight. And I'm going to let her go ahead and tell her story and give you her background information. Okay?
Well, thank you all for coming on such a cold night. I wasn't really thinking anybody was going to show up. I didn't want to show up. Well, I guess I should start out by leaving Finland in 1942. It happened to be on my, I landed in Sweden in Western Entervik, the railroad station. I turned 5 years old when I landed in Sweden. And it was haymaking time over there, and he put me up on a hay bale, and you can see the horses' ears are standing up because I'm screaming. I didn't like that very much. And I played with horses and cows, and these are chickens, and I used to walk the cows down to the lake over there, to the pasture down to the lake and stuff. And this is going to school in Sweden, and I'm here, but somebody took another very good picture. I'm hiding there, just a half a face of me. And this is a Sunday school here, and I'm right here. And I remember this dress very well. It was pink, and I believe it was made for Easter. And then we took a walk down to the lake over here with my host families. So I think it was an Easter Sunday. It's in the book, the picture in the book, and I don't know what it is. Is it Easter or is it just means Sunday? I don't know. Somebody else will have to read the book. And then in 1949, they sent me a ticket to come and visit them. So I went here to visit, and they still had the farm, so we worked on the farm. And I don't know what I'm doing over there. Is it oats or is it, I don't think it's hay. Maybe it is. And drag the picture. And I have a little display on that table over there that came with me from Finland. My brother brought up that jewelry box, and those other two little things there And he wanted to throw them away because they took a lot of space in a suitcase when he was there traveling in 76. And then I went there in 77, and that's the handwork she's handed me when I was there then. I used to do a lot of handwork over there, embroidery and knitting and stuff, and all I have left is that. I don't remember what I knitted over there, but I did a lot of knitting too. She taught me how to knit and throw the yarn like this. When I moved back to Finland, I had to learn to do it this way over the finger. So there you are. Confused a 12-year-old kid. And it was confusing because I went to Finland, to Sweden. I went to Finland in between the wartime for about 6 or 8 months. Then we were sent back again to Sweden, to the same host families. Then when the war ended in 47, that's when I came back to live in Finland then permanently.
Did you have to leave in 44? Huh? Did you have to leave Finland in 44?
42.
Oh, 42.
42, yeah. Yeah. And we, you know, it was just that, I often wondered, how did my parents leave? Mothers had to work in the factories. So the fathers were in a war, so there was nobody to take care of the children. And did the Finland government do the right thing by sending us to a foreign land? I mean, there was younger kids than me. You know, we had a tag on our neck with our name and the town we were going to. And that's how, and the year I was born and everything. I wish I had saved that tag, but I didn't. I mean, it wasn't any, I probably was nothing left of that tag anyways. I drew food on there, probably drew a lot of food on there.
But that family you went to, or it was just the couple, they didn't have any kids?
Yeah, the family I was with didn't have no children, so they really treated me very well. And all my clothes were made by a seamstress. So that's, I always want to go run to that place over there, try on that dress and to get it to fit it to me and the length and all this. I rode the bicycle there, and it was only a mile or two to the place where I had to ride the bike and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what else there is. You know, I've often wondered what did she feel like it too, because she had me all those years and then came back, and then we stopped there then in 1950 when we were coming to America to visit them, and I didn't, you know, I suppose she figured she'd never see me again, you know, and but I went there in 77 anyways. I wanted to spend some time with her. She was failing and she was ill, so that's how I went there then finally. Yeah.
They probably wanted to keep you.
Yeah, I think they would have wanted to keep me. Yes, I think my mother wouldn't let me go because I was the only girl. If there would have been another girl, maybe she would have let me. I don't know. Probably not.
So when you learned Swedish, when you went back to Finland, did you remember your Finnish language?
No, I didn't. We had one phone call in Sweden during that time, and I couldn't talk with my mother because I had forgotten my Finn. I don't know how many times I forgot my Finn, and again, Swedish back again. And then finally, I went schooling in Finland about 2 years before I came to the United States, so I really didn't learn my Finn either very well. I learned my Finn in this country. So life was very confusing, I think. I don't know how I survived it, but it was, yes.
What part of Finland were you born?
Kemi, Finland.
Kemi?
Yeah, in Lapland. Yeah.
Where in Sweden then did you go?
Västerlähtervik, Varmlands.
Varmland?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very close to Oslo, Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
How about the boys? Where did they go? Did they get to stay together? Or?
My two boys, my two brothers they were neighbors side by side in Säter. So we were like 200 miles apart. So I never seen them till I went home.
Wow.
And then again in 47, of course. You know, I don't remember them. How are you gonna remember? You're gone for so long. I can't.
What about Wilho? Where was he?
My oldest brother, he understood, so he wouldn't go. So he went to live with an aunt of mine in Nivala, Finland, on a farm, and that's where he stayed. Yeah.
What kind of a factory did your mother work at?
I'm not sure what that factory was because it was in a factory. The men used to work there, so what they made, probably a pulp, I don't know, paper mill maybe? I never did find that out. Yeah, it's,
Did all the children in your area get moved out?
I don't know how many went from my territory, but the train was 70,000 children on the train. Yeah, yeah. And there's about 1,500 war children living in the United States are from Sweden. They moved here and they all got left here. And same thing, some of them are living in Sweden too permanently. They never went back home. Their parents didn't want them because things were rough and bad after the war. So they stayed in Sweden, and that's where they got left. And I know there's some in Australia and London too, with the war children too. And there was 2 good movies out. The University of Finland had a movie called The Orphan Train, and they just talked to the poor host families, not to the children. And there was another movie called Best Mother. And all my kids have seen that movie, and we found it on the internet, I think.
Netflix.
Netflix, yeah. And it was an interesting movie about one boy in the family. He always wanted to go look for his parents. He was many times building a raft to go across the lake. That's in that movie, yeah. The movie was sad and it was interesting. I know there are more movies out there, and there's books too. A lady back over there, she said there's a book over there about that book, the war children. Yeah, so you can find a lot of things, I guess, on the internet, those that are into that, but I'm not into that. As you can see, this is my life pictures. And there's things over there that I had when I played with, as in Sweden, the baking board and the cupboards and stuff. And she did a lot of baking and entertaining and stuff, and we did a lot of church things too, so that was one thing we did do, is go to church a lot and different events.
Wasn't it that banana time?
They had no children. Yeah. Yeah. And this parking lot was full of people when I'm arriving. I was the only one coming there. So the whole town came there to greet me. I remember that. And then these 2, I call them old people coming to meet me, they stepped out and they took me.
Yeah. Were you scared?
You know, I don't remember. I don't remember. And there are things that I don't remember either. Is it it's blocked in my head someplace, and I probably will never know. You know.
Wasn't it that General Mannerheim that was kind of behind that decision to?
I guess he was, yeah, the Mannerheim, yeah. But there's a lot of questions about it. But there is a lot of children that was affected by this move for the young children to leave their parents. I mean, there's a lot of them that went back home and they committed suicide in their institutions and stuff. There is an article in Finland about that my cousin read to me. That's how I know. And my cousin had been in Sweden too for 2 years, but she won't go back because she didn't like it. She said they weren't very good to her.
Who paid for your fare? Who paid for your rail fare to go?
We don't know that. That was never brought up. I went to all these seminars at the Michigan Tech when FinFest was there. There was 13 Swedish war children there in 2013. And there was 13 of us there. But the men, all these seminars that I went to, he said, and there's a lot more, but they don't want to be acknowledged that they were war children. Yeah, that's what I was told. I don't know.
How did they decide where to send you? Did they ask for volunteers to host children?
That I don't know how that came about too, you know. It was never you know, he had relatives in Iron Mountain, Michigan, and when they sent us the address, we went to look, find these people. And she had all kinds of pictures of me, just about the same pictures that are right here. So she must have really loved me to send all these pictures. And then when I started going there to visit him, they both passed away since then. They told me all sorts of things that They had wanted me very badly, that's what they said. So, but America was supposed to be so wonderful, so we came to America, where the streets are paved in gold. I haven't found one yet.
Did you go right to Superior then?
To Michigan, up in Michigan,
Up in Michigan?
a little town of Kivana Bay,
Which one?
farming town.
Which town?
Kivana Bay.
Oh,
It's not even a town.
oh, okay.
Well, there used to be a gas station, a post office, and a couple of grocery stores. There's nothing there now.
Isn't there a casino and a prison? I think so.
There's a prison in Painesville, Michigan, yeah. And a casino, of course, in Berga, yeah. That would. Actually, I thought I was going to see Indians and bow and arrows when I came. Because we came to Berga, Michigan. I did see a lot of dark people.
You probably got to know the Simulas up there.
Yeah, I know some simulas. Yeah. Yeah, my grandpa lived on the Jarvie Road, is what it's called.
Oh,
Yeah.
isn't that the one that goes by the cemetery?
Yeah, I goes to the cemetery, yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you talk about how your events were when you came over on the ship and everything that transpired all the way to Kivana Bay?
Coming on a train.
On the boat and
boat.
and how that all transpired?
Well, we left from Sweden after we visited all the host families in 1950. Must have been September or somewhere, because we landed in New York in October. We landed, we left from both Gothenburg in Sweden, Gothenburg, and then went to London, a boat, small boat, I remember the boat. Then we took an 8-hour train ride across London to catch the Queen Mary, and that we were on that thing for 6 days till we landed in New York. And then another train ride, and another train ride. And nobody was there to talk to us. We had no translators of any kind, not on a boat, not on trains. And the conductor must have felt sorry for us in Chicago when we were dropped off, because he went and found Finnish-speaking person over there, and we were hungry for food, I mean real food. So my dad showed her the wallet. He says, you have plenty of money there to order roast beef dinner and mashed potatoes and the works. And then she introduced us to American apple pie and ice cream, which was very good. Yeah, I feel sorry for some of the children that didn't make it or went back, I think. And I have spoken some, there was some in Minneapolis that I happened to be talking over there, was visiting over there. And he also was a war child, but he never came to any of these events. And then there was in other places too. They don't want to be noticed that they were the war children. I don't know. Are they ashamed or what? You know. We really got started with this thing of doing it because of that movie that was in the University of Finland at an orphan train. And Jim Kerttu told us, he says, you kids gotta get together and make yourself a story and make a book out of this. You have a story to tell more than what some people have lived through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's how we got started then, writing a book.
Did you meet Beho Poniainen from Minneapolis?
Who?
Beho, his name was Poniainen, and they changed it to Payne.
I don't remember.
Because he had a very bad experience in Sweden.
Did he?
Or he had a great experience in Sweden. When his mother came to get him, he didn't want to go with his mother.
Oh.
Quite a fight, I guess.
Yeah.
But then he ended up in Duluth and went to school in Duluth.
Okay.
And he's living in the cities, but he is one of the war
Children too, yeah, see.
I don't know if he's ever told his whole story.
Oh. Well, FinFest in 2008 had about the Swedish war children, but there was only 4 of us over there.
Oh. He was there, I think, in Duluth.
He probably
He was
was.
in Duluth for FinFest.
Yeah, in 2008.
Yeah.
And see, I was in Houghton, Michigan in 2013, and there was 13 of us over there. But then after that, it died down. Nobody talks about it anymore. Finfest in Minneapolis, nothing. But I think they had a big Finfest in Finland last year, but I haven't heard anything about it. I was waiting for an article in an American Reporter or something, but I never seen anything about it. They had a big turnout over there. Well, I think that it tells my story to this day.
Did you ever have contact with your mother when you were living in Sweden?
Yeah, we had one phone call from her, but I couldn't talk Finn to her. See, you turn totally Swedish actually I could talk Swedish for a couple of months when I came there because they couldn't talk Finn to me, and I'm not. So I mean, I think they thought first of all I was deaf and dumb. But she knew I could talk because I'd be talking with my toys. Yeah, she knew I could
must
talk.
have learned pretty fast because you had such good marks on your report card.
Yeah, there's a report card there and a book from Sunday school. When I went, they gave you a star or some kind of a thing that you went to Sunday school. And that jewelry box my mother sent to me, she read the thing, it was 1946 to me. I couldn't tell the date, but this gal here seen the date behind the 1946. And my brother had to bring that stuff with him in 76, and he was going to throw that out in the garbage. She happened to be with him, and she said, no, you can't throw that out, that's Mother's. She was there in 76 with my brother, and he has a picture when she was there with my host grandmother. He had died in 63, so.
I find it very intriguing though. If any book were put out, I would want to buy it.
Yeah, I have a book. I have a book. I took a couple with me. Somebody was interested in our journey to America.
Are your books for sale?
Yeah,
Okay, how much are them?
$15.
Where are they?
I have them in the bag. I didn't know if anybody was interested, so I didn't want to push it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not a girl that pushes anything.
Well, I think you should sell them all.
It's probably because you're Finnish.
Finns don't do that. And these are two of my daughters here, and then two couldn't make it because of a basketball game at Northwestern High School. And it was parents' night, so the other sister went with her because she had just lost her husband in November. So she didn't want to go alone. Yeah, so. Oh, that's okay. Go ahead.
Question in Kemi, how much Swedish is spoken there? Because it's right by the line.
Yeah, it's close to the Haparanta, I know. Not there they didn't speak the Swede. But lower down there was a Swedish town, and the schooling was all Swedish too, but I don't know the name of the town. What is it?
Where's it, Kokkola? No.
On the
In
Swedish
Finland,
side.
are
I
you
don't
talking
know
about
what it-
Finland, in Finland?
Yeah,
The Swedes, there's a lot of Swedes in Kokkola.
Obala, yeah.
Kokkola,
Kokkola,
south of Tornio,
South of Tornio.
on the Baltic.
Really?
I have relatives there.
I never ran into any Swedes over there the couple of years that I was there before I came to this country. So I don't know.
How did your host family pick you, or were you just brought to a place?
I understand that they had volunteered, is what I understood from his relatives in Iron Mountain.
What did they like ask for? If they wanted a girl or a boy or did they?
I don't think they,
take anybody?
I think they
Just take
were,
anybody, huh?
yeah.
Was it originally government to government?
Well, I guess Finland government thought they'd save the children, that's why we were sent away.
But not all children went.
Not all children went, no, like my
And the
oldest.
Russians attacked or something.
Yeah, like my brother wouldn't go, he understood it now.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't because we were so young.
Yeah.
I was 5, my other brother was 6. We were just a few months apart, a year apart. Then my youngest brother, he didn't go. But then the next trip we came, he came with us and he was only 4 then. And he cried over there every night. My brother had to go over there and sleep with him for many nights with his host families. So somebody,
Did you go back to the same families then?
yeah, we went back to the same families always. Yes.
She lived in Kimmy, that's a neighbor.
There's our book. If it wasn't for Jim Gift, who never would have done this thing. And that's the handwork I did Louis Street. There's a lot of handwork there. That says good Yule, that means Merry Christmas, right?
Yes.